from pig heads flying at Camp Nou to captains crossing enemy lines in North London. These are moments that made fans burn shirts, curse names, and swear they'd never forgive. These are the worst football betrayals in history. It's one thing to leave your club, it's another to join the enemy. But Luis Figo didn't just cross that line, he set it on fire. At the turn of a millennium, Barcelona fans worshipped him. He was their captain, their talisman, their soul on the pitch. Kids copied his stepovers. Journalists called him the face of Catalonia's football identity. But in July 2000, that face became the most hated man in Barcelona. Florentino Perez had just promised Madrid fans something insane during his presidential campaign. "Elect me and I'll bring you Figo." Everyone laughed until it actually happened. The man who wore the armband at Camp Nou was now holding up the white jersey of Real Madrid, smiling like nothing happened. When he returned to Camp Nou for the first time, it wasn't a football match, it was a war. Coins, bottles, and insults rained down on him from the stands. And then came the infamous moment, a pig's head hurled from the crowd, landing beside him as he prepared to take a corner. That wasn't just anger, that was betrayal turned physical. Figo became the ultimate villain, the spark that reignited Madrid's Galactico era and tore Barcelona's heart out in the process. And if betrayal had a face, it would be his. Because in football, you can forgive bad form, you can forgive a red card, but leaving Barcelona for Real Madrid? That's the ultimate sin you never come back from. But not all betrayals are born from disloyalty, some are born from disrespect. And Samuel Eto'o's story might just be football's sweetest revenge. You see, before he became a legend at Barcelona, Eto'o was just another forgotten name on Real Madrid's bench. They signed him young, barely gave him a chance, and loaned him out like a spare part. To Madrid, he was never going to make it, and Eto'o took that personally. So when Barcelona came calling, he didn't hesitate. He crossed over to the Catalan side, not as a reject, but as a man with unfinished business. And what happened next was pure poetic justice. At Barca, Eto'o became everything Madrid said he couldn't be. Ruthless, relentless, unstoppable. He scored goals for fun, won La Liga titles, and lifted 2 Champions Leagues. And in both finals, he scored. Each celebration felt like a message. You should have believed. The peak of his revenge came when he faced Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Barca won 3-0, and Eto'o, the man they once ignored, stood in front of their fans shouting, "Madrid, salute the champions." Eto'o didn't betray Real Madrid, they betrayed him first, and he spent the rest of his career making sure they never forgot it. For 8 long years, Robin van Persie carried Arsenal on his back through injuries, rebuilds, and endless promises of next season will be different. He was their captain, their leader, their talisman. He'd kissed the badge, fought through broken bones, and in 2011-12 gave Arsenal their best striker season since Thierry Henry, scoring 30 goals, a golden boot, and hope. And then, just when it seemed like he might finally lead them back to glory, he wrote a letter. In that now infamous open statement, Van Persie said he and the club disagreed on the way Arsenal should move forward. In translation, I want to win trophies and you lot aren't built for it. Within weeks, he'd done the unthinkable, signed for Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United. From red to redder, from captain to Judas, Arsenal fans were stunned, furious, heartbroken. But Van Persie, he didn't just leave, he twisted the knife. In his very first season at Old Trafford, he fired United to the Premier League title, their 20th, Sir Alex's farewell crown, while Arsenal finished 4th. One of his goals that season, a stunning volley against Aston Villa, became the image of United's triumph. Every Arsenal fan saw it replayed again and again, like football's version of psychological warfare. When he returned to the Emirates, the boos rained down. He didn't flinch. He even apologized to Arsene Wenger in private later, but the fans never forgave him. Because Robin van Persie didn't just change clubs, he changed sides in a war. And while he walked away with a medal and a legacy at United, Arsenal fans were left clutching another project and a broken heart. In the end, Van Persie's move proved one brutal truth. Loyalty doesn't win you trophies, but betrayal, sometimes it wins you the Premier League. But he wasn't the only one to switch from the red side of London. Long before Van Persie, one of the greatest fullbacks in the world, stabbed Arsenal earlier. There are transfers that shock football, and then there are the ones that define the word betrayal. Ashley Cole's move from Arsenal to Chelsea was so messy, so explosive, it earned him a nickname that still haunts him today, Cashley Cole. In the early 2000s, Cole was Arsenal's golden boy, an academy product, a key part of the Invincibles, and arguably the best left-back in the world. He had London in his blood and Arsenal in his heart. But then came a fateful phone call, one that would end all of that. While still under contract with Arsenal, Cole secretly met with Chelsea's Jose Mourinho and Peter Kenyon in a hotel room to discuss a transfer. Arsenal found out, the Premier League found out, and all hell broke loose. Cole was fined, Mourinho was fined, Chelsea were fined, but the damage was done. Arsenal fans saw it as pure treachery, and when he eventually made the move across London in 2006, he didn't just change clubs, he crossed into enemy territory. He later claimed Arsenal disrespected him with their contract offer, but fans didn't care. To them, he traded loyalty for luxury, love for a larger paycheck. And what made it worse, he thrived. To make things worse, at Chelsea, Cole won everything. Premier Leagues, FA Cups, and the Champions League. He became one of the most decorated defenders in English history. But for Arsenal fans, the trophies didn't matter. Every medal he lifted felt like another twist of the knife. Because in their eyes, he wasn't Ashley Cole anymore. He was the man who sold his soul for silver and blue. A legend lost to greed. Some betrayals are loud and dramatic. Michael Owen's was quiet, but it cut even deeper. For years, Owen was Liverpool's golden child, the boy wonder who made his debut at 17, the striker that made England believe again, and the Ballon d'Or winner who carried Anfield on his back. He was supposed to be one of them forever, but football has a cruel sense of irony. After leaving Liverpool for Real Madrid in 2004, Owen's career began to stall. Injuries, bad timing, and fading form meant he was no longer the player he once was. So when the chance to return to England came in 2009, fans hoped he'd come home. He did come home, just not their home. Owen signed for Manchester United, the one club Liverpool fans swore eternal hatred toward. And the worst part, he wore the number 7 shirt, the same shirt worn by George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham, Ronaldo, and now Liverpool's own prodigal son. For United fans, it was shocking. For Liverpool fans, it was unforgivable. He might have been quiet and polite, but that made it even worse. He didn't seem to understand the gravity of it. Yes, he scored a famous derby winner against City. Yes, he won the Premier League medal at Old Trafford. But at Anfield, his name became taboo. Because Michael Owen didn't just leave Liverpool, he crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. And in doing so, he proved that sometimes the worst betrayals come with a smile. Every betrayal has its villain, but some villains come wearing a smile and holding a family reasons card. When Thibaut Courtois left Chelsea, it wasn't the move itself that enraged fans, it was how he did it. Let's rewind. Courtois had built his name at Chelsea. He'd replaced Peter Cech, helped the club win 2 Premier Leagues, a Golden Glove, and for a while looked like the safest pair of hands in England. He said all the right things, kissed the badge, talked about building something special. Then the summer of 2018 happened. Chelsea were in pre-season, waiting for their number 1 to return from World Cup duty. But Courtois never showed up. No training, no communication, no explanation. Instead, reports started emerging that he was refusing to train until he got his dream move to Real Madrid. The same club Chelsea had beaten in transfer battles in Champions League ambitions for years. And then it hit the fans even harder. The family reasons excuse. Courtois claimed he wanted to be closer to his kids who lived in Spain. Fair enough, until he arrived in Madrid, grinning in his unveiling, posing with the shirt, and instantly talking about a step up. To Chelsea fans, that wasn't fatherly love, that was PR-coated treason. The boos followed him for years. When Madrid met Chelsea in Europe, every touch he took at Stamford Bridge was drenched with hatred. And yet, in pure villain fashion, Courtois thrived. Every save he made against his former club felt personal, like revenge disguised as professionalism. In football, loyalty is sacred, until it isn't. Every betrayal on this list has one thing in common. It wasn't just about money or medals, it was about emotion, about identity, about the fans who sang your name one season and spat it the next. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Betrayal is part of football's DNA. Without it, there's no drama, no villains, no moments that make football feel human.